Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. People around here are turned off by the Browns, and Freddie Kitchens is well out of his honeymoon period, perhaps quicker than any coach in recent years, and God knows we've had more than our fair share. I had 2 emails today wondering why I don't talk about the Cavaliers. All right, John Beilein is still in my honeymoon stage. Even though I haven't seen enough of their games to make a real judgment, most of the players won't be here by the start of next season anyway. Sadly, this is not a basketball town, unless, of course, LeBron's son gets drafted here in a couple of years. Their record right now is 5-14, same amount of wins as the Cleveland Browns. So we've all got that going for us. We've got Bud Shaw going for us tonight. More sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into our 24th consecutive year and seen exclusively right here on cleveland.com. Bud Shaw is here, seen almost exclusively, at least on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, I expected to be sitting here talking about a 6-6 football team with a chance to make the playoffs. Instead, we are not, Les. Can I say one thing real quick?
Absolutely.
All right. There's this, I hate the exercise that some people do, media included, where they raise this false premise and then knock it down. Like, oh, you guys think Freddie Kitchens wearing a T-shirt is the reason they lost a game or the reason he should be fired? Nobody has said that.
I don't think so.
Not a single person has said that. But you can look at it and say, that was kind of a dumb thing to do.
And
why would a head coach get involved in that and still make the point that it didn't affect the outcome of the game?
Right, but you could
I've
also
been hearing that from a lot of
You could also
people.
have 10 reasons why he is mistakes that he has made, and that just becomes the 11th.
Yeah, I mean, and I might even put it a little lower on the list.
Let's be smart. That wasn't a smart thing to do.
No, not at all. And I think it's okay to say that. But nobody is saying that. First of all, I haven't heard many people say that he should be fired, other than fans who obviously get upset when they lose. But
well, they
in
lost
the media,
game they
nobody has
won.
called for his head right now. And
well, I'll tell you what I did the other day at Monday at the press conference. I said to him, now the T-shirt said Pittsburgh started it, right? Is that the wording it was?
That's right.
So remember, supposedly Myles Garrett claimed there was a racial slur, and there may have been, there may not have been, I don't know. But when the head coach who has talked to him says Pittsburgh started it, he's insinuating he knows more than we've been told, I think.
Yeah, listen, I would put this in the same category, and I made this point around a couple of media people who disagreed with me a couple of Sundays ago. When Dee Haslam goes out there wearing a 95 hat, supporting a guy who we know for one thing has jeopardized the playoffs by his meltdown. We don't know what was said between those two players. And it shows this tacit okay with what happened. And they shouldn't be okay with what happened at all. If she wants to sit there privately and say, listen, I'm really disappointed, but you know we still support you. We still want you to be a member of our organization.
Without doing it with
But
the hat.
I'm not happy with how that went down. That's fine, but not walking around wearing a 95 hat and him wearing the T-shirt. It struck me the same way, is that they're not a serious organization that takes what happened seriously because it's jeopardized their season.
Yeah, and let's go one step further. I heard a national guy say they are now the Oakland Raiders of 2019. And if you're not from here, it's hard to argue. If somebody has to be the Oakland Raiders, and we all know what that entails, if somebody has to be it, wouldn't you look around and say, oh, yeah, that would be the Browns?
Well, I hesitate to make that, because first of all, I don't follow the Raiders close enough to know how much of that was just a generalization about their players. Is it more about their fans and
I think
the whole?
It was more about Al Davis in the
it's
70s.
I just think that in this particular situation, they had a player, and Kitchens and Mayfield were honest about it in the minutes after that game. They had a player jeopardize their season by melting down. For whatever reason he says it happened, that's what happened. And now they go out and they lose a game. They just have never struck me as an organization that has this laser focus on winning and building the culture that other winning organizations have. And we saw it. That team in Pittsburgh has no right to be 7-5. And I would argue that this team has no right to be 5-7. There.
Okay.
Can I go now?
No, I have big news concerning the show. You know, you're only here on Tuesdays. I'd love to have you Monday through Friday, but you're here on Tuesdays. Monday, yesterday, we got a call from who do you think?
Josh Cribbs.
Close.
Who said,
Chuck and
we
Solon.
almost win.
Chuck and Solon, who we've not heard since the beginning of the year.
Good. Glad to hear
And he gave us a synopsis of the last 8 or 9 or 10 months that he's missed on the show. And I'm thinking of in the week between Christmas and New Year's, just say 2019 with Chuck from Solon.
So it was a long call.
It was a long call, but he was right on everything. He didn't make a mistake.
Well, I'm glad to hear he's back.
Well, it took him 6 months to rehearse what he was going to say, but nonetheless, it was great to hear him. Great to have him part of the show. All right, so what do we make of it?
I don't know how you can look at the season, even if you and I have had this discussion, even if you had picked them to go 9-7 or 10-6. I picked them to go 10-6.
I did
so
too.
they're not going to get there. If they finish 9-7, the knee jerk is to say, well, it was close to what you thought they were going to be. The way this season has developed, I think, is what this organization has to look at. Where players, following the lead of the coach in the way they played, and for better and worse, I would say. Were they undisciplined because they think the organization thinks that came from Freddie Kitchens? Were they undisciplined because John Dorsey brought in undisciplined players? I think there's a lot to review here, but if they don't finish in the playoffs this year, and I think that, I'm not saying that's completely gone, but it's certainly a slim chance now, it's going to be a disappointment. It's a disappointing season no matter how you look at it.
We all know that sports is a business, and it gets pointed out with certain events at certain times. The Browns released Chris Smith today. You know the story.
I do know the
his
story.
Girlfriend, I don't know if she was his fiancée, was killed in that terrible automobile accident, 6-7 weeks ago, something like that. To be fair to the Browns, in all the games he played, he had no tackles from a defensive lineman's position. What do you should they have done anything different? Should they have? They also said they did it. They let him go early enough that he could find a room on some other roster. I get that, but it's a cold, hard business, isn't it?
It is.
That proves it.
I've read a few things where people have compared this to the way the Steelers dealt with Ryan Shazier. I certainly don't find those two things comparable.
Right.
One guy's career was ended physically because of something that happened on the football field. The other guy has been with them now for almost, 12 games. Almost 12 games. Well, yeah, 12 games. So I didn't, when I heard about it this morning, I felt bad for Chris Smith because of what kind of year he's had, but it didn't immediately strike me as this, this insensitive, hardened organization ruining a guy's Christmas, as I've seen some people writing.
Okay. With this organization, since it has come back in 1999, you have had a situation with Mike Holmgren and Eric Mangini. Mm-hmm. Mangini wins the last 4 games, and Holmgren, whether he was telling us the truth or making something up loosely based on facts, he said, I'm a coach and I understand how tough it is to get that team to go from 0-12 to 4 straight wins. And so he kept them. Other people may tell you he kept them just to let it go one more year before he decided what he was going to do, but that's not part of this question here. Winning the last 5 games here, which is certainly possible, although I don't know how you beat Baltimore. But if it is, a win is a win, whether it's against a bad Cincinnati team, even though they won a game. But it's still counted as a win in the NFL. So what are we looking for from Freddie Kitchens to see if he's going to be back here next year?
Well, I think we saw some. If you were looking for reasons to keep him, I would say that there were some reasons during that stretch when they cut the penalties down. Mm-hmm. They started playing better. whatever the issue was with Baker Mayfield early, I thought that he started to iron a few things out and was playing better. Yeah. So I think those are still the important components here, more so than the wins and losses, because I think the only way these games can really affect his status is if he loses to a couple of these teams.
Right.
If he loses to Cincinnati,
loses,
if he
losses
loses to
hurt,
Arizona,
but wins don't help that much.
Yeah, that's what I think, and I think you still have to keep in mind what it is. Is he the guy that you want running the organization? Do you think Baker Mayfield? I mean, the reason Freddie Kitchens got this job was because of his work with Baker Mayfield last year and his work in play calling. Now, I think we can look and say, was he calling his own plays last year, or was he calling Todd Haley's plays? And is there a difference in in those two things? And Dorsey should know that best. But I think that he's a guy that is going to be on the carpet after this season, no matter what happens the rest of the way.
Well, here's what concerns me. They're in the Pittsburgh game, and they were the favored team, mainly because of the quarterback situation. But now you're trailing, and you've got the ball with 13 minutes left in the game. And you forget that you have maybe the best runner in football and maybe the best secondary runner in football, in Hunt. And you never ran the ball.
I would say you have two top 5 to 7. I would put Chubb in the top 3 running backs in the league. But if you want to, we know what Kareem Hunt used to be. Those are 2 top 5 running backs. You have 2 top 5 wide receivers.
Right.
You're still in a tight game. Your quarterback has just come back from banging his thumb on a face mask, whether the X-rays showed damage or not, or a break or not. Those are the kind of things that in Week 12. If you're Dorsey, you're hoping that was something you saw early on and that you don't see it anymore. You see a head coach evolving and growing as a play caller. And I just don't see it. I mean, I know you've made the point that he shouldn't have both jobs. And I'll say this, I think if he comes back next year, he won't have both jobs.
He won't. It just concerned me that you've got to, if you're going to pass the ball, a lot of things have to happen to make it complete. It's the reverse of what Woody Hayes would say about throwing the ball. But you can rip off 12, 15 yards. The defense is tired by that time, and you have Nick Chubb, who apparently never gets tired, throw in Hunt along with it. You should be able to get some chunks. And
you also have shown in that game that your pass protection is not the best. For whatever reason, whether it's missing Greg Robinson or whether J.C. Treader was banged up. I think most offensive lines would, if you ask them to be honest, they prefer running the ball.
216-575-0403. You see the email address at the bottom of the screen, reallesLevine@gmail.com. Here's the stat of the month. Did you know there are over $3 million paid out on Ohio Lottery scratch-offs every day in the state of Ohio? Give the gift of winning this month when popular games like the Ohio Lottery scratch-offs, Holiday Cash, Holiday Lucky Times 10, and Merry Millions, all from the Ohio Lottery. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine. New content is posted each and every day. We got an interesting one today, or I think it is, because it involves the Heisman vote, which is coming up very, very soon. We're going to have the audience help me decide who to vote on. We'll take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then, watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
216-575-0403. More sports and Les Levine with you tomorrow night. The D-man, Dennis Manloff, will be here. Then Hoynesy will be here on Thursday night. By the way, you know the Railbird, Bob Roberts?
Yeah.
He's going to spend the next 2 days just archiving Hoynesy rants.
Excellent.
You know,
well, some
could be
people
50
are
of them.
making good use of their retirements.
Yes, that's exactly correct. All right, we got so far into the second segment, we forgot to do your opening.
Well, the
your
first
opening.
break gave me an opportunity
You changed it?
to say some things. No, change it. It's ad lib. To say some things that I want to say on the Freddie Kitchens.
With an opening comment, here's Bud Shaw.
Well, thanks, Les. Listen, I don't pretend to know Freddie Kitchens' status inside Browns headquarters. I'm willing to bet, though, that like most GMs of losing teams, John Dorsey probably believes he has given his head coach more talented roster than the record reflects. Kitchens played the youth card this week, a card better played early in the season. Youth could have explained the Tennessee game, for instance. Not a loss to Duck Hodges, Benny Snell Jr., and James Washington, all younger than the Browns players manning the corresponding positions for them. Dorsey shouldn't have turned over this team to a rookie head coach if he didn't expect some growing pains. But Kitchens has hardly distinguished himself in game day management and team discipline. And if he hopes to keep his job, he had better find a way to beat Baltimore again and not slip up against bad Cincinnati and Arizona teams. Winning out, as Les pointed out, saved Eric Mangini once upon a time. And it might be the only way back for Freddie Kitchens at this point.
Couple of things. First of all, he's very, very likable. Would you agree?
Freddie?
Yes. Just okay? Just
He's
not
all right.
so likable?
No, I think he is. I think most people, when he got the job, thought that they had found this kindred spirit, that this guy who got them and they get him and folksy and all of that stuff.
Okay.
I think some people have grown to get a little weary of the, we just have to do a better job. We've got to win big moments in big games.
It's the same speech all the time.
It's the same thing. So.
Okay, but what's more concerning to me is he thinks this is a hotbed of rough journalism.
Yeah.
And believe me, you've been to many more than me.
Well,
it's not even close.
Well, I I grew up in Philadelphia, where fans in a poll yesterday overwhelmingly voted for the team to walk back from Miami on foot because they lost to the Dolphins. Does that seem like a reasonable fan base to you?
First of all, I don't think they realize how far south Miami is from the Georgia border. So it's not like, just walk across Georgia and then go to Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, Pensacola is a big place.
Yeah. No, I think people have, the media here has legitimately asked questions of Freddie Kitchens about things that have come up this year. I imagine when John Dorsey sits in front of the media for the first time since, right before the bye, that there's going to be questions about that too. I mean, he's the guy that brought in Demarius Randall and Antonio Callaway and others. And, not that he has to go have 100%, success rate. Nobody does. But I think people are starting to look at that maybe a little differently.
Well, and I'm also wondering if Freddie, and I don't know what I want yet. I need to see the last remaining games. But if Freddie doesn't make it to get to be here next year, I just think he's going to say the media and the fans ran him out of town, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
No, listen, you can say that the Browns have had owners that have reacted to an angry fan base. I mean, Randy Lerner, of course, met with a couple of fans in his office one time, right? But I don't think when it comes down to it, they decide to swallow these head coaching contracts and spend the kind of money they've spent trying to build a winner based on what the media or the fan base says.
No, what they do is go to a homeless guy and say, who should I pick for quarterback in the first round?
There's a lot of stories. Just
Are you
a
gonna
lot
write
of
it?
stories. I mean, even just this T-shirt thing is like, it's just another one of those stories that you just think, but this doesn't happen in other towns.
I heard, I haven't met him, so I don't know his name. The guy from ESPN who covers the Browns now?
Jake Trotter?
Jake Trotter.
Yeah.
Okay, I heard him today on 92.3 The Fan. And they asked him if he's surprised by all the different wacko things that happen here. He says people wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, I know. He's here for it's his first year. And I think he's been told, like, oh, yeah, this gets crazy around here. But he didn't know that until he saw it. And now, Baker Mayfield's wife is going on social media and criticizing questions that are
Mary
being
Kay?
asked of him. And
How do you feel about that? Because Adam the Bull went out and said that she should mind her own business, basically. But first of all, she's defending her husband. That's number one.
But it wasn't even a question that reflected poorly on Baker Mayfield.
No, not at all.
It was a question. It was the only question that Mary Kay Cabot asked about the T-shirt, and it came after people the players in the Pittsburgh locker room
Right.
were talking about it. So, and Baker Mayfield answered it in the right way and said, "I've done worse than that." So,
well, how about the fact that she's now a member of the media, not the sports media, but she's working for a television station.
does. She works
that
at
kind of opens her up a little bit more than somebody minding, not tending to the store.
Yeah, I think it never is a good look when a player's family gets involved in trying to defend him for whatever reason.
Right.
And certainly the question that was asked of him by Mary Kay was a fair question. It had been something that people talked about all over the country and in the Pittsburgh Steelers locker room. Whether you think it had anything to do with the game or not, sometimes we don't think it did either, but we want the player and the coach to respond, not just go by our opinion.
Yeah.
We want them to say that it didn't mean anything, if that's what they believe.
And for their purposes, it gets them out on the record.
Yeah.
And you'll find out who's telling the truth here.
Yeah, and it gives them a chance to support each other in some way, which Mayfield did support his head coach. So
216-575-0403 is the number to call. We asked you, and we'll get to it in the next segment, we asked you to help me out. I'm a voter on the Heisman Trophy Committee, and I've got to get my vote in this week. I want you to help me. Who should I vote for? Every Ohio State guy. Just 7 Ohio State guys going
boy,
to New York.
You really puff yourself up there, don't
No,
you?
I
You're a name dropper.
I actually
Who
go
you
out of my
voting
way
for?
to be careful, not to be judged that way.
You're not
but
allowed to say who you're voting for, right?
I'm allowed to say after.
After.
And then that's the only thing that I ever signed. Or, here, you be a Heisman Trophy winner. Do you promise not to tell anybody till after it's announced? Yeah, fine. What do I care? 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations plus the website. Don't go anywhere without going to northeastfactorydirect.com. Then you can go east, west, or south. South being Macedonia. East, of course, is Lakeland Boulevard, the old B&B Appliance, and, of course, West 140th is the west side, not too far from the airport. Northeast Factory Direct, all you're going to do is save money. You're going to pay 50% or less of what you're going to pay at the big box stores, and Alex has done a phenomenal job. Hard to believe he's been doing this 20 years now. Started out with one little piece of furniture in the garage of his house, and now 20 years later, he's one of the great businessmen in all of Northeast Ohio. No matter what the business. Check it out, northeastfactorydirect.com. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement of live harness racing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Post time 6 p.m. Special live racing post time on Thursday, December 26th and Friday the 27th. Post time for that also 6 p.m. All at Northfield Park, where it's free parking, free admission every day. That again, Northfield Park. We'll come back. We'll take a look at what you have told me to do with the Heisman vote. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get your basement ready for the holidays.
There was moisture in the basement. It ruined the carpeting. The smell was terrible. We didn't feel safe in our own basement, and that's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. For a limited time, get Nature Stone installed now and pay nothing until next year. Payments as low as $99 a month. No interest, no down payment. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
National Holidays expert Mary here with a list of holidays you won't want to miss. Get your Ohio Lottery Merry Million scratch-offs for National Donut Day, National Have a Party with Your Bear Day, Pickle Day, National Unique Talent Day, Take a Hike Day, and America's favorite, National Jukebox Day. Every day is a reason to celebrate. Grab a Merry Millions and other Ohio Lottery holiday scratch-offs today.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line, a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
This portion of More Sports and Les Levine on cleveland.com brought to you by Tri-C. All right, here we go. I need help.
I knew that.
A lot of Buckeyes.
Oh, with the Heisman voting?
Heisman voting. Now, I'm not allowed to divulge who I'm voting for, who I did vote for, if I did, in fact, do it. If I covered my bases, pretty much.
But people are now going to be watching your body language to see if you're giving away who
Mr. Heisman can't come from Ohio City, where he was born, and take the vote away from me.
Yeah, I don't think so. But we'll judge.
All right, so we asked you who Les, that's me in the third person, who Les should vote for the Heisman. Glenn Berger says Joe Burrow, his completion percentage is off the charts. He's having an award-winning season at LSU. Melvin Stickle says Joe Burrow. He's from Athens, Ohio. Robert Moore says number 2, J.K. Dobbins, Ohio State. Dennis Chase and Alonzo Costanzo each say Chase Young. And Trent Harrop, I believe is the way it's pronounced, says, I trust Les to make the correct call. I like Buckeyes, but a dude from Ohio is cool also. That means Joe Burrow. Isn't that an interesting story that Joe Burrow was the quarterback in waiting at Ohio State, and then along comes the couple of different movements?
Yeah, I have a feeling that it's going to be Joe Burrow, but I just think that Ohio State's got a couple of guys that are legitimate candidates, and they may end up, I don't want to say splitting the vote, but it may end up, regionally, there may be a lot of people in the South that just go for Burrow.
And Chase Young did not have a good game the other day, or at least maybe he was doing what he was supposed to do, but he didn't, the statistics didn't pop off the page.
Yeah, some people will just never vote for a defensive player, you know. I don't know if that's, I don't think that's fair, but that's certainly the way it goes.
All right, so let's talk about these guys. Harrow looks like a pro quarterback.
Burrow?
Burrow,
yeah,
I mean.
Yeah. I mean, the game he had against Alabama, I thought was as impressive as any game I've seen a college quarterback have in a long time. Not only with his arm, but just making the right decisions and getting out of the pocket and picking up first downs when he needed to. It was really good.
78% completions, 66 yards. Look at that, 44 touchdowns versus 6 interceptions. And I know, and it's with Ohio State too, not just LSU, it's hard to judge who they're playing against because half the season you're not playing great competition.
Yeah, I mean, I like college football. I don't like it. I don't like the mismatch factor when it happens. You know, it happens more regularly, it feels, than big games come along.
Do you think Ohio State's coaches, meaning Urban Meyer before and Ryan Day now, do you think they're going out of their way to score as many points as they can, or are they going it easy on their buddies?
I don't know.
And what should they do?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but to me it's professional football without the salary cap, you know? I think these guys know that scoring a lot of points and winning margin is a big deal when it comes to voters, especially when it's close between a couple of teams. So, I mean, I don't like to see them if they're going to outscore, you know, Florida International or somebody like that, or the game against Miami, for instance. You're down 5-0 as Ohio State, and you win 76-5. But when you're in a game against Wisconsin or Michigan State, and you run up 57 points or whatever, I think you make your point.
Rarely do you hear 75 unanswered points.
Not often.
All right, let's take a look at Ohio State's quarterback, Justin Fields, see what's up with him. 189 completions and 277 attempts, 68% completion, 2654 yards. This one, I don't care who you're playing. That stat there, 37 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Yeah, he's going to give up a lot in total yards passing in part because he's got Dobbins in his backfield.
J.K. Dobbins, look at him. Let's look at what he's up to. 250 attempts, 1657 yards, 19 touchdowns, 17 receptions, good for 200 more yards and 2 touchdowns in the air. So he had 21 touchdowns.
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty good.
He might even finish second in the voting.
Could.
I'm not looking for you to confirm that.
Do you think that? Yeah, we have our meetings every week in my basement, and we go over who we're each voting for, just in case anybody asks.
Aren't there about 600 of you select voters?
No, I believe there's 950 voters, of which about 50 of them. Would you say about 50 of them are winners who are still alive?
Yeah,
I think it's about 50. So they get a vote also, and they spread it around in various regions. I think Ohio has one of the biggest regions. I don't know what the number is, but it's one of the top 3. In region size. But I don't find out any quicker than you will as to who won.
You don't get a phone call?
They give me a star that I could stick on my forehead, if I did a good job and got the right one.
Oh. You are changing your look these days, so I can't wait to see how that meshes with the beard.
Can I tell you my one vote that I was happy with when I made it, but in retrospect, you're going to laugh at it?
Johnny Manziel?
Nope. Monte Teo. I voted for him second.
Monte Teo?
Well,
you voted for him second. Well, you didn't vote for him to win the Heisman.
No, but was he a bad choice? Do you remember? He had a phenomenal college career.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I can't remember who was in the field that year. Who won it?
I don't remember. But we have people in the back who
You didn't leave the
like
number
that.
1 and number 3 empty, did you, when you filled out the
And
ballot?
just put Monte in the second position?
Second.
I might have, but I still have the gig. I don't know. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. I think, so Dobbins is what, second behind Eddie George in rushing at Ohio State?
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Do you think he's as good as Eddie George was?
I don't know. I have a hard time projecting these guys into the pros. I remember when Doug, who was on last night with you, Doug LeMaurice and I were talking about the guy from Dallas. Why can't I remember the Ohio State?
Emmitt Smith?
No.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, Ezekiel Elliott. We were talking about him coming out, and Doug had seen a lot of his games, and Doug felt that he was going to be a good back, but he didn't think he was going to be what he was. And I'm not pointing that out because Doug missed on that a little bit, but just because I think it's hard to project these guys. I mean, sometimes they're just playing against such inferior competition in college that it looks like they're all going to come into the league and run for 2,000 yards. And remember what we thought of Trent Richardson when he came in.
I thought he was going to be one of the best ever.
Yeah, a guy that could stay on the field for all 3 downs,
Right.
was built low to the ground, and he has nine touchdowns his rookie year. You think, okay,
Good start.
This guy's going to solve their issues, and now we know how south that went.
Did we miss a quickie here?
Did we miss a quickie?
Did I miss a quickie?
Yes, I think I missed a quickie.
All right.
More.
Well, it's time for a How Come Quickie. This
All
one
right.
from our own staff
crack
writers.
staff.
Let's see what our own crack staff came up with today for a How Come Quickie. How come, despite his name, Mitch Albom never sang a song?
I have been on a river cruise in Russia listening to Mitch Albom sing and play the piano.
It's not
How's
true.
that?
Is that true?
That's true. How about that, Les? Who can say that?
You apparently. You apparently.
The Goodwill Games in 1986. He's a very good musician, by the way.
I didn't know that.
So he may have made
Oh,
an
now
album.
that you've told me that, Is that a fake name to go with his
No, I
what
don't
he
think
does?
so, because he spells it a little differently.
Oh, well,
but
that-
he's in a celebrity band with like Stephen King. And
Hey, I just wrote the quickie. I put no thought behind it.
Whoever did knew all of that, all of what I just said.
Of course
I'm sure.
I did. Let's take a break. Our past segment brought to us by Tri-C, and we shall return in a moment. Tri-C, you see where they rank, 10th in the nation in conferring associate degrees in health professions and related sciences. Call or check out Tri-C, Cuyahoga Community College. Now we'll take a break. Come on back in a moment with Bud Shaw. Tomorrow night, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
Today in sports history, brought to you by Smiley One Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. December 3rd, 1956, Wilt the Stilt plays his first collegiate basketball game without a shot clock. He scored 52 points for Kansas and got 31 rebounds. In 2 years, he averaged 29.9 and 18.3.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
He could really run the court, too, which a lot of people don't think of when they think of a 7'1" guy.
He had to be the hardest guy in history to stop, right? I mean, he had no jump shot for those who've never saw him play, but it didn't matter. He had that dunk with the flip that
a little
he'd start at the foul line and finger roll it in.
Yeah.
And who wanted to go up on him on a nightly basis?
Yeah, he was something else.
All right, you tell me now, this is a holiday season, and we all know because it's a holiday season, there must be movies involved.
Yeah, so
you have a personal experience.
Well, there's a movie out now. It's a Scorsese movie called The Irishman. That's based on a true story of the guy who was sort of Jimmy Hoffa's bodyguard, who eventually admits late in life before he dies that he's the one who pulled the trigger and killed Hoffa.
Is that true, by the way?
Yeah. I was at the same wedding as The Irishman. He was invited to my brother's wedding by my father. He was in the Teamsters local in Philadelphia, Frank Sheeran. My father was in the Boilermakers local in Philadelphia, was a business manager there.
So is he afraid if he didn't invite him, it might be a problem?
I never knew exactly what was going on, but I just know that Frank Sheeran was sitting at a table with two other guests. One's name was Goonie.
Of course
the other
it
was Nails. And they requested a table in the back of the room. They also requested that no pictures be taken of their table.
Right.
And at some point during the reception, the photographer either ignored that news or forgot it and took a picture of their table. And someone who was with Goonie and Nails and the Irishman came over and
confiscated
took the camera and took the film out. It's when you could rip the film out of the camera and hand the camera back.
At the middle of the
someone.
wedding, did you all go to Giant Stadium?
Start with shovels? No.
Yeah.
No. I can't remember what year Hoffa died.
When your
he may have still been alive.
When
at
your
that
father
point.
sends, when your brother sends out the invitation, does it say Goonie, 128 Main Street, something, New Jersey?
All I know is
I shouldn't make fun.
A guy used to call my house to talk to my father, whose name was Three-Fingered Tony. So I don't want pretend to know what was going on.
Could have been Three-Fingered Mordecai Brown.
I was 9 years old at the time. I'm pretty sure it was all union business. So that's
Could have
my
been the
story.
baseball pitcher, Three-Fingered Brown.
I've just given you my 2 best stories. Been on a river cruise in Russia with Mitch Albom singing and playing the piano.
All right, let me tell you something. My favorite story until today, a Bud Shaw story, is the fact that he gave up back-to-back home runs to identical twins on the first pitch at each at-bat. That was my favorite. My second is when your team was playing in Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And you got the call in the
Phillies at the
bullpen.
time. Yeah,
you got the call in the bullpen, and you couldn't find the phone.
I could not find the phone.
Which is eventually you found it underneath the tarp, but the pitcher got out of the inning.
Yeah, by then it rang.
Did you guys win the game?
32 times. No, we lost the game. I never got in, and that's why
Does it
my
bother
only
you?
college offer was a small school willing to pay my book money. I could have been somebody that day, Les. If I had
you
only
could
been
be
able to
somebody
find
now
the
if you
phone.
tell me if we've done this. Has Freddie Kitchens earned a second year? Have we done that, Mike?
No.
We haven't done that?
Uh-uh.
That's yesterday. Your job
We
is
haven't
to,
done it today.
I thought you were supposed to watch every day and let me know what we've done and what we haven't done.
Well,
Do you want to know what the results were?
No, I knew we hadn't done it today. Yeah. What are people saying?
Not a lot think he deserves it.
Huh.
A lot of them think he'll get it, but they don't think he deserves it.
Well, do a lot of them think it's a good idea or a bad idea? Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea?
I'm not ready.
You're not ready to decide yet?
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't. I'm right in the middle. I have 5 reasons why he should, 5 reasons why he won't. I don't know.
Okay. Well, you don't have to make up your mind. You got a whole month to go, Les.
All right. Well, I'm going to go to Santa Clara, California. Bill's standing by. Hello, Bill. Thanks for waiting.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Well, thanks for waiting, but you don't give up a
I'll give you my vote.
Yeah. What?
I was a Freddie guy. I called you 2 weeks ago saying, give him another year. Let
You
him
can't
learn.
change in
Belichick
2 weeks.
wasn't good his first year at Cleveland.
All right, hold on
But
one second.
now-
Wait, hold on one second. We have, as a collective society here in Cleveland, we have to just push aside the Bill Belichick experience here in Cleveland, and also the fact that, well, Tom Brady came in the 6th round, so there's got to be a good 6th rounder. We have to put those 2 things aside and then move on. You agree?
Well, because these guys are exceptional.
Exactly.
They are the exceptions to what they've done, what coaches and quarterbacks do in this league. So, yeah.
Okay. Anything? Well, how do you?
So I think, and I was in Freddie's corner, but I'll tell you what turned me against him. I think they should get rid of him at the end of the season.
What happened?
What turned me against him was when Baker said, they were asking Baker, how come you got sacked so many times? And he said, well, these plays take a while to develop, and it's like, okay, wait, let's go back a little bit here. We're playing a team that's very aggressive. They have a chip on their shoulder, and we have a suspect offense. To say we have a suspect offensive line is to give them praise,
Good point.
We don't have an offensive line, and to have these slow developing plays. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done with this.
Here's the thing.
This stuff.
Bill.
Yeah.
Well, the excuse I hate to hear is we have to get our quarterback or our team into what I want my team to look like. No, you can do that when you have everybody in position, but until then, you, the coach, is the one who has to make the adaptations.
Yeah, Bill, I agree with you. I didn't think it made a whole lot of sense, but they had this preconceived notion that they wanted to throw deep to Odell Beckham Jr. in this game, regardless of the fact that their starting left tackle was out, that I think Treader was banged up partway through that game. I think you had to adjust. You also had a quarterback that we know banged his thumb and had a bruise of some sort. Whether that affected him or not, who knows? But if you had Benny Snell Jr. as your running back, I could see where you'd say, we got to put the ball in Baker Mayfield's hands and win this thing. But you didn't. You had Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt They like throwing to the tight end now. I mean, there's a lot of – the only time I've seen them look good offensively, like really sharp for the whole game, was in that Baltimore game. And the pace of the game was just so much faster. And part of it was what Bill's talking about, the getting the ball out of Mayfield's hands on rhythm patterns and getting the ball into the receiver's hands.
The other thing about Baker Mayfield, and I still like him, I still think he's the franchise quarterback, he has yet to come back in the fourth quarter and win a football game. So what makes you think you're going to be able to do that?
Well, I would give him the Buffalo game as the final drive against Buffalo. I think they were behind and went ahead.
Okay. Fair enough.
But I think that's the only one this year. And I think you'd be hard-pressed to look at what he's done. I know some people say you can't blame him for what's happened this year, but I don't think you can look and say he has progressed.
Anything else, Bill?
I agree, and that's another point about Freddie is I think our entire coaching staff is not, and I know nothing about this, but I know that the play calling is bad. They won't run 6 times in the second half. Really, we have the best backfield in the NFL, and we won't use it.
It's unbelievable.
To me, you play to the strengths of your team, not. And it appears with Freddie that he's very stubborn. I thought he was going to be a flexible guy, learn on the job, have some humility, but he appears now to me to be very inflexible. And just the thing with the T-shirt. I mean, my God, how stupid can you get? You wear it in your house. You don't wear it out.
You got it. All right, Bill. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it very much. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct. 3 great locations, plus the website, northeastfactorydirect.com. West 140th Street in Cleveland, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, and, of course, Freeway Drive. That's in Macedonia. And you're going to pay about, he pays about 1/10 the rent that the big box stores pay, and he passes the savings on to you. You're not going to find anything cheaper out there or better. 50 sofas right now around $399 and solid wood bunk sets from $299, all at Northeast Factory Direct. Sokolowski's University Inn, they've got the big event coming up. It's the wine tasting party coming up on Sunday, December 15th at 3 p.m. Check them out, 216-771-9236. Bud, are you aware they were just chosen by Food and Wine magazine as the number 2, I don't know who number 1 would be, number 2 cafeteria-style restaurant in the entire country. How about that?
Well-deserved.
Well-deserved. No, number 1 would, they'll go get number 1 next year. You don't want to be number 2. No, you do. In that business, you sure do. No question about it. Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. We'll come back in a moment. We'll get some quickies a little bit later. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get your garage ready for the holidays.
We had some cracks in the floor. We needed to enhance the beauty of it. That's when we called Nature Stone.
Nature Stone corrects uneven concrete, so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. For a limited time, get Nature Stone installed now and pay nothing until next year. Payments as low as $99 a month. No interest, no down payment. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then, watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
Welcome back. More sports and Les Levine. Bud Shaw with us. Tomorrow night, the D-man, Dennis Manilow. Paul Hoynes getting ready. He's warming up in the bullpen right now with a rant. That'll be on Thursday. 216-575-0403 if you'd like to get in on the action here. I want to bring up a couple of emails that came in. Paul from Findlay says, Les and Bud, much talk of the offensive line. I put a huge blame on the defense. Couldn't pass rush a third-string quarterback or cover substitute receivers. Couldn't stop a substitute running back with a substitute center. Allow a 12-yard run on 1st and 11 at the 1.5-yard line. He's absolutely right.
That's all true. Can't argue any of it.
I got a nice letter from Mitch in Kent. Hey, Les, Mitch in Kent here. I may think it's a bad look. He's talking about the T-shirt, especially since Freddie just left the theater watching Pittsburgh's own Fred Rogers' Neighborhood movie with that shirt on. I think one of Mr. Rogers' lessons was to have a little humility and respect, but it's just a thought. And he sent in a quickie tonight that we used, linoleum. Now this one...
That was a birthday, right?
A birthday.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. This is one you and I and Mitch, we forget our generations, how old we are. He's got a good quickie, but I don't know who's going to know it. How come if Jack Nicklaus golfed for average, he'd be Jack Parr? See, now who's going to know Jack Parr? You don't even know Jack Parr.
Oh, I do. Sure, certainly I do. But
gave his position up to Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
I know Burt could sing, but could Reynolds rap? Les, thanks for your shows. They are always a 10. Appreciate that.
Can I tell you what I just saw? Why I have my phone out?
Yeah.
Okay. You're an Ohio State
proud alum.
Historian, I would say.
Oh, all right.
And proud alum.
Yeah.
Apologist would also be on that list. How is it possible that Ryan Day is the first Big Ten Coach of the Year in 40 years? Is what this
first
Ari
Ohio
Wasserman,
State coach?
Yeah, Ari Wasserman tweet. 40 years.
It obviously
is it because
just
they've
happened
just been so good that
they win without coaching?
They figure, it's the talent, not the coaching.
Even if they didn't like Woody and Bo, you'd think they would still vote for him. Woody and Bo made the conference what it is today, made the rivalry what it is today.
Yeah. I'm just.
That's surprising.
I'm surprised.
40 years?
Like
so
Urban's
what year does that take us back to?
Well, 1980.
1980,
right?
yeah.
Almost 79, 80.
So who would have been the coach? Coop? No.
No, not then. But
Earl
I'm
Bruce?
just surprised that,
Earl Bruce.
Earl Bruce. The voice of God just told us Earl Bruce.
How about that? So anyway, maybe the crack staff can find out.
Well, how about this? When was there a successful Ohio State quarterback in the NFL?
Well, that I understand is a
Wow, you got more
an
Michigan.
anomaly, but
Yeah.
I was surprised that it's been so many great coaches here since then that you would have thought somebody would have won. They've won titles.
Woody Hayes came here. He won national titles. Woody Hayes in '54 they won a national title. Just showing that I'm a historian. '68 they won a national title, and he doesn't get Coach of the Year in the Big Ten.
Well, maybe he did. It hasn't happened in 40 years.
That was after.
So I'm just surprised. Like Urban seemed to be like, and Tressel. I mean, look what they did when they were here.
And they didn't. Neither of them were Coach of the Year.
We're going to get to the bottom of this.
Are we? How are we going to?
Probably not. But
how are we going to do that? We're going to go to Northfield Park. That's how we're going to do it, and then we'll come back.
All right.
With
I'm going to
How Come
investigate
Quickies.
this.
Catch the excitement of live harness racing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Post time 6 p.m., but they open at noon every day for simulcast action from all over the world. It's Northfield Park, free admission, free parking every day. We'll come back in a moment. More sports and Les Levine continues. This date in Les Levine history, I think it's a good one. I don't remember.
I'll be the judge.
You be the judge, and we'll come back in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get your basement ready for the holidays.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature's Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. For a limited time, get Nature's Stone installed now and pay nothing until next year. Payments as low as $99 a month. No interest, no down payment. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
This date in Les Levine history, December 3rd, 1956. Les scores on a layup on a drive. That was 90s. I don't know. Who knows what it is? Scores through a bigger Euclid team. He says if they ever change the scoring system, that should be a three-pointer because it's much harder than an open 18-footer.
Yeah. Especially someone with your vertical jump, which I'm just assuming wasn't high.
When they brought in the three-point shot, a lot of people thought, ooh, that's a tough one. Nah, it's easy.
No, not for these guys, for sure.
No. Are you ready for How Come Quickies?
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Should I grade these?
Well, tell me what you found out about coaches in the Big Ten. Nothing?
Well, just it was something. It's verified there was something that Urban never did, and I assume Tressel never did here. So
how is that possible?
I don't know, but it's a pretty great stat for Ryan Day.
You got a bonus today for 50 grand?
Yeah. How about that?
Chump change.
I mean, in the TV business, like that you're in, that's nothing. But for a newspaper guy, that's a lot.
Well, that is nothing.
Because you've never seen one.
Right.
Okay.
Right. All right, Mr. Gullible comes in with a double here, a two-hitter. Ready?
Yeah. Should I wait till after the second one?
No, but what I'd like you to do is give your rules for this. To score well, to score
they're
high.
called quickies for a reason.
Okay, they need to be quick.
They should be quick.
How about puns?
Puns are not the best. I like the little turn that you don't see coming.
Okay.
Sometimes with puns, you see it coming.
You do see it coming.
Yeah.
So like, never mind.
Go ahead. We'll see.
How come when my boss told me to dress for the job I want, I stole his clothes? Okay.
I like that.
What do you got?
I like that. Well, should I wait till the second one?
Let's give the second one.
I like that one.
How come when I applied for a health club position, they told me I wasn't fit for the job?
Okay.
All right.
Now, see, that's the one where the fit is a little punny. It's a little corny. Whereas
and you
the
like
first
it or don't
one
like
I didn't see coming.
Oh, you didn't see it coming.
So I'm going to...
So you add the two together and divide by 2. That's what I would do.
Oh, okay.
All right, you put up an 8.5. So that's the two of them together divided by 2.
So I gave him a 9.5 for the first one and an 8 for the second.
Okay, John Patrick.
How many
back.
are there here?
1.
This one.
You got room?
Yeah.
You gonna stuff the ballot box? How come when my dentist said I needed a crown, I thought, finally, someone understands me?
See, I'm trying to take
They can also be stupid.
Your laughter out of this because you're trying to sway me with the fact that you host the show and you think it's funny.
And you think that will change how I feel about you?
8.5.
8.5.
Which is not bad. Let's face it. I've given out 0.0s here.
Well, not only that, I need them to be a high quality because when I enter them into the Quickie Hall of Fame,
When are you on radio again?
Friday.
No, that's a regular feature when you're on, is How Come Quickies, correct?
No.
It's not?
That's a regular feature when I'm on by myself.
Oh, okay.
Can you sense what that means?
Nobody else thinks it's a good segment?
Exactly, except the program director. I say, should I do quickies? He says they're mandatory. However, the hosts don't necessarily feel the same way about that.
So how many do you get when you're on your...
Oh, my God. How many do you need?
Do you get 20? Do you get 30? Do you get 50?
I do it for 8 minutes.
8 minutes? You know they call the Kentucky Derby the fastest 2 minutes in sports?
This is the slowest 8 minutes.
8 minutes in radio.
Well, let me think about it. It's nonstop. I mean, if I said it 10 minutes to 2 on a Friday that I'm there by myself, if I said, okay, it's time for How Come Quickies, I would say maybe Saturday about 3 in the morning they would stop coming in at totally wiping out the phone lines. Yeah.
They're that popular, huh?
It could be the same guy calling back each time. We usually get, if it's an 8-minute thing, we usually get 6 to 8 different III mans calling in.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Different guys, though,
okay.
I think.
All right.
I don't know.
Well, that's a pretty high standard.
Do you have a final comment?
You know, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this team reacts to the final 4 games. You know, they should win 3 of them.
Which one is not a win? Baltimore?
Well, I wouldn't say it's not a win, but it's that one. If Baltimore still has something to play for on December 22nd, they're playing really, really well right now, and they want to avenge an early season loss. So I think that's a tough one.
Are we going to have all these Baltimorean fans coming in again?
Probably, yeah.
Well, raise the hotel rates.
Yeah. So I would like to see, I mean, is this team going to keep its focus now that some of these guys in this locker room might think that their playoff aspirations died last week?
Okay, next week, when you're on Tuesday, will be closer for you to make a decision on what you think will happen to Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, that'll do it for us. Great job by Bud Shaw, as always. Let's see you tomorrow night with the D-Man Dennis Maniloff, Paul Hoynes on Thursday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.